Start with a Flea Flicker to open up the night. And he connects with Galladay.
Sup, everyone. Welcome back to the Flea Flicker with Joey D and Timmy B. This weekend, we got the divisional round. We got the last Saturday of football, sadly, for quite some time. But Joey D, man, how are you doing today, buddy?
We're doing great, Tim. It's a Saturday with football. We're up early. We're ready to get into it and, just kind of talk about these games. And, then we'll start watching them almost right away. So I'm hyped.
I know. And thank God the NFL decided to schedule these games at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock and even tomorrow on Sunday at like 3 o'clock and 6:30. That way they weren't scheduled at 1 and 4 like previous years. And then you're sitting around Sunday night at like 7:30 being like, what do we watch? But let's hop right into the games. The first game on Saturday, let me pull up my sheet. We got the Los Angeles Rams at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are a 6.5-point favorite at home. The over-under is 45.5. And much like the Colts and the Bills last week, not asking you if the Colts have a chance, because I think the Rams do have a chance, but it seems very unlikely the way the Packers are playing, Joe. So how do the Rams beat the Packers? I mean, this is not the ideal matchup for the Packers. I mean, the Rams can run the ball and they play good defense. So what are some keys for you for the Rams that maybe they win this game, and give us the rest of your thoughts on your pick?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest matchup I'm looking at is Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams.
Mhm.
Jalen Ramsey has been unreal this season, shutting down teams' number one wide receivers. So that battle, and he's gone up against elite guys like DeAndre
Right.
Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, Julio Jones, a couple really, really good players. And now he's going up against one of the guys who's pretty much leading the league in a lot of different categories, and
Mhm.
Devontae Adams. So that matchup's going to be key. What Ramsey has been able to do this year leads me to believe that he's gonna
Mhm.
slow down Devontae Adams, and that's going to be the key is who else is going to be able to step up for the Packers. So I'm keeping my eye on Bob Tunyon. I think that he's
Ooh.
going to have a big game. The Rams don't invest a lot in their linebackers
Mm-mm.
or in their safeties. So, outside of Jalen Ramsey, there is opportunity for this Rams defense to be attacked. And with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to be able to do that just fine. The other key is, Aaron Donald. How healthy is he against a Packers offensive line that has had to make some changes recently with the David Bakhtiari injury. We that's if Jalen Ramsey can slow down Devontae Adams and force Aaron Rodgers to have to get off of that look and go to someone else, and then Aaron Donald's already in his face. It's going to be a long day for the Packers, but I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to do just fine in this game. He's gonna be able to do enough and show why Aaron Rodgers. Because on the flip side, I don't see this Rams offense really getting a lot of points on the board against Green Bay. Um, I mean, Jared Goff isn't healthy. Cooper's a game time decision, and yeah, Cam Akers has been running the ball well, and that's kind of been the Packers' Achilles heel. I think that after that Derrick Henry game with the Titans, and they just shut him
Mhm.
down, they they're confident in themselves to be able to shut down the run and to shut down a quarterback like Jared Goff and this Rams offense. So I think the Packers are going to win. I think it's going to be a good game, a little bit of a lower scoring game than people expect. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to blow anybody away with the sets, but I think
Mhm.
he's going to make a lot of really good plays and not turn the ball over and do enough to win this game. And it's going to be a really fun one to watch because those matchups with Jalen Ramsey and Devontae
Mhm.
Adams are just going to be key.
Yeah, and you said it too with the Jared Goff injury, and the Packers have been doing pretty well with run defense in the last month of the season. Now, I was looking at their opponents; they were playing the Eagles, the Panthers, the Lions, and then the Titans and Bears. So only one or two decent running attacks from those teams. So obviously, that defense is a little bit better. But I think the key is the Jared Goff injury. If he was healthy and throwing the ball, Cooper Cup was healthy as well. Maybe I might go with the Rams here, but I'm going with the Packers here. I think the Packers are looking at this game saying, "Look, we know we had difficulty stopping the run, but if we do, and if we make Jared Goff throw on a banged up thumb, we're winning this game very easily." So that's one thing I'm looking at. Also, on the flip side with the Packers defense, Jair Alexander is also a very good defensive back as well. So whether
Yeah.
he's on Bobby Trees or Cooper Cup or whoever they decide to put him on, that receiver's probably going to be shut down as well. And on the flip side, you can't go against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I mean, the way that they're playing right now, Joe, it's just absolutely amazing. So I'm going with the Packers. You're going with the Packers. We asked our guest again for picks. We only got 7 of them this week, not the 9 that we got last week. So a little bit lower. Hopefully, we can get back to our 10 or 11 or 12 for a championship week in the Super Bowl. But they are all going with the Packers as well. So it's a unanimous Packers. So if you are a superstitious person, maybe bet on the Rams a little bit. But we do have a bold prediction from our guest, Colt. He says Aaron Donald is going to have 3 sacks, which is possible, but he still has the Packers winning. So we're all riding with the Packers. And now it's time for Saturday Night Football. With this game, we got my Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. Right now, the Bills are a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is at 49.5. Jody, we'll kick it off with you, buddy. Ravens, Bills, thoughts, and who you got?
Yeah, for me in this game, I mean, the key is kind of like last week when we talked about the Colts versus the Bills. It's how much can this defense slow down Josh Allen and how much ball control can the offense play to keep the ball out of his hands. And I think that, that's a good formula for the Ravens to be successful in this game. I mean, this secondary that Baltimore has with Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith, and, Chuck Clark and Elliott, not big names, but they're playing very well. Just that secondary, you don't need to, you can afford to blitz sometimes, but I also don't think you really need to with, this D line that's now healthy with Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell. I think they're going to be able to put some pressure on Josh Allen and they're going to be able to sell out, stop the pass because Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, and Devontae Freeman. I mean, does that scare anybody? The Bills' offensive line, it's solid, but it's not great. So I think that just with their front four, they don't need to blitz anyone. They don't need to send extra people in the box to stop the run. They can afford to just shut down Stephon Diggs and force Josh Allen to go to Cole Beasley or John Brown, try to beat you that way. And then on the flip side, this Ravens offense is able to run the ball better than just about anybody in the NFL. I mean, we've seen what Lamar can do. Gus the Bus and J.K. Dobbins now picking it up in the playoffs. If they can run the ball and just keep it out of Josh Allen's hands as much as possible and just kind of try to speed this game up. And, if they win time of possession, I also really think that the Ravens are going to force 1 or 2 turnovers in this game. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. I've got a really good feeling about them this game. And I just feel like the matchup with the run game for the Ravens and their defense versus the Bills offense, I think those matchups favor the Ravens. But obviously this Buffalo offense is phenomenal. They've been playing so well this year. It's really hard to, it's easy for me to say, this is a good secondary and they can just shut down Stephon, slow down Josh Allen, or some turnovers. It's a lot easier said than done. So it'll be a tough game. I really have a good feeling about the Ravens today, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going with the Ravens, Joe. They're my team, and I see so many things with this game. I'll try to keep this short. But actually, I was looking up some stats. Josh Allen and Ryan Tannehill had very similar stats when it comes to passing. And we look at Josh Allen, and it's like, yeah, he throws for 300 yards and he's like praised because they only run for 50 yards a game. Whereas in Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill throws for 300 yards and Derrick Henry still runs for 150. So it looks a little bit more balanced on the stat sheet. And there's a couple of things defensively. I think we kind of need to treat Stephon Diggs like we did with Derrick Henry last week, kind of setting a cap, saying like, hey, we know he's probably going to get 90 or 100 yards, but let's make sure he does it on, 10 or 11 catches and not 6. Let's make sure he's just averaging 8, 9, 10 yards a catch, tackle when he catches the ball, no yak, and make sure he's not open, kind of like Derrick Henry. It's like, all right, cool. He'll get 90 or 100 yards, but let's make sure he does it on 25 or 30 carries and not 10. So I think that's going to be a big thing as well. And also defensively with Cole Beasley and I believe their rookie Isaiah McKenzie, a very quick guy, we got to make sure that when they run underneath on short slants, and he dumps it off for 5 yards. We got to make sure that we tackle and make sure that they only get 5 to 10 yards on those plays and not 15 to 20. I think that's going to be a big thing for us defensively and also getting to the quarterback as well. And Josh Allen, for all of his rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, his longest rush this year is only like 23 or 24 yards. And we're used to playing a quarterback like this. We have experience playing a younger Ben Roethlisberger who can scramble around in the pocket and make plays and extend plays. So we are experienced with that. So I think we'll be fine defensively. And, the Bills are going to score some points. So should be a fun game to watch. And then offensively, I don't get why people are saying with the snow. Lamar said he's never played in snow before. So a lot of people are saying the Bills. Well, this is not a 8 to 10 inch blizzard that we're getting tonight. There might be like a half-inch dusting. It's going to be like the Sunday night game that the Bills played against the Steelers. It just might always be flurrying. I mean, hell, snow up in Buffalo, it's kind of like rain in the summer. There's going to be a 30% chance every day. So I'm not too concerned with that. But we're going to run the ball pretty well, I think. And we just got to make sure that we catch the ball. And I'm going with the Ravens on this one. I like you, Joe. I just feel good as a Ravens fan. I think this is a pretty even matchup, too. I mean, when you think of the teams behind the Chiefs in the AFC, I'm probably thinking Ravens, Bills, and maybe Titans as 2, 3, 4. So I think we're right there. Hopefully, this is a little bit more of a statement game. Being in the AFC Championship game, even though we were the wild card, we did have a little rough patch in this season. Still winning this game and saying, "Hey, you all said it's going to be Chiefs Ravens. It's all going to be Lamar Mahomes in the AFC Championship." Well, we're here because we belong here. So hopefully that. And if we do lose, Joe, I hope it's not one or two things. Like I think that's why back in 2011 when we lost the AFC Championship game, yes, it was the AFC Championship game and against the Patriots. But all Lee Evans had to do was catch the ball, and then all Billy kind of had to do was make that field goal to go in overtime. And that was one thing. Whereas last year against the Titans, obviously that loss stung, but it was like, all right, well, we had to do if we did this right and this right and this right and didn't do that. So if we lose, I hope it's not just one thing where it's like, oh my God, dude, if we just caught that one ball or recovered that one fumble, like we would have won. If we do lose, hopefully it's a little bit of a list being like, well, if we did this and this and that, so that it doesn't sting too much. But we're going with the Ravens on this one, Joe. Our guest, we do have a couple of bold predictions as well. And as expected, we got 4 people going for the Bills. We got 3 people going for the Ravens. One of them is Colt, so he's another Ravens fan. So I guess 4 and 2 from the unbiased crowd. But Colt thinks Josh Allen is going to throw 2 interceptions. And our friend Fab says the Ravens are going to come back from at least 15 points with consecutive 15-plus yard rushing touchdowns from Lamar Jackson. So definitely a bold prediction on that one. And now we're going to be moving on to the next AFC game, unless you had any final words or thoughts on the Ravens-Bills, Joe. Sorry.
That's all I got, Tim. You pretty much covered it. It's going to be a really good game. I think this is one of the tougher games to pick on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And now maybe a little bit of an easier game. Like I said, the next AFC game, we got the Cleveland Browns making it this far in January to the divisional round of the playoffs. They are on the road at the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs are a 10-point favorite. The over-under is at 57. And Joe, like I asked with the Rams, and I asked last week with the Colts, not saying that the Browns don't have a chance, but what are some keys that you're looking for that maybe early on you're kind of like, all right, Browns can hang. Browns could win this game.
It's kind of a similar formula to what the Ravens need to do to beat the Bills. I mean, they need to run the ball, which we know that the Browns can do well with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So that's a possibility. Run the ball, keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand, win time of possession, and then just slow down and limit that offense as much as you can. But it's just so tough. I mean, it's not like the Bills where Stephon Diggs is your clear biggest threat. If you take out Tyreek Hill, then Travis Kelce probably goes off. Clyde Edwards-Helaire could have a big game. This is a Chiefs offense that can do so many different things and overwhelm even the best of defenses like San Francisco in the Super Bowl last year. So it's going to be really tough for the Browns. That being said, they do have, some guys on defense who, they're going to be key. I mean, Myles Garrett has to have a huge game if they're going to win. He has to be dominant and unstoppable throughout the game. And then Denzel Ward has to be able to slow down Tyreek Hill, limit him. I think that's really going to be kind of the game plan. Denzel Ward versus Tyreek Hill. couple other people probably, doubling Travis Kelsey, and then Miles Garrett, just trying to be a wrecking ball this game. So the Browns need a lot to happen. There are so many different things that the Chiefs can do on offense. The playoffs is when their defense really stepped up last year. I don't think I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a good game, but ultimately, I think the Chiefs just kind of handle their business, and we're not really ever concerned about the Browns winning this game. I mean, I think the scoreboard will keep it close, but I think the Chiefs will kind of be in control throughout this one.
Yeah, and you got to consider too, uh, the Chiefs probably aren't going to snap over Mahomes' head on the first play for a defensive
Exactly.
touchdown for the Browns, and then Roethlisberger threw like three picks on like his next like 9 or 10 passes. I don't think Mahomes is going to do that as well. Especially one was like a little floater to the running back that was just a little too high. One was tipped. I don't see that happening with the Browns defense. And with the Chiefs too, especially last year and even this year. Like I said a couple weeks ago, at home they have not looked good. Like their loss was at home. They lost last year at home a couple of times, and they almost lost to the Falcons or almost went into overtime at home. Almost lost to the Panthers at home. So for some reason, the Chiefs just aren't good at home, or as good. And last year in the playoffs, like Texans went up 21-0, 24-0. Titans went up like 14-0, 17-0, and they came back. So I think this year the Chiefs are going to come out strong and say, like, yes, we know we can come back from 20 points down, but that's not happening this year. We're going to take
Right.
control of the game. And for the Browns, I mean, it's tough. You pretty much have to do what you did last week and get a couple of early turnovers and go up that, 14-0, 21-0, 17-0 on this Chiefs team. It's like the Packers. It's hard to pick against Mahomes and the Chiefs. And you said it best, Joe. It's who's it going to be this game? It could be Tyreek Hill. It could be, Edwards Hilaire. It could be Kelsey. It could even be somebody like a Sammy Watkins or even like a Mecole Hardman. It's like, who are you guarding? Because somebody else is going to be wide open or they're going to create some plays. So I'm going with the Chiefs on this one. Our guests all went with the Chiefs again, Joe. 7 people. We do have a couple of bold predictions because Josh is a Steelers fan, and obviously Chase Claypool made some more comments this week about the Cleveland Browns, saying that they're going to get clapped. It's like, dude, just take the
Mhm.
L and move on. So Josh thinks that the Chiefs win by 20 points, and Claypool makes some sort of comment on TikTok or Instagram, kind of like a "I told you so" or whatever. Colt thinks this game's going to be a little bit close, and this game's going to go into overtime with the Chiefs winning.
Mm.
So wouldn't be shocked if they do. And then Fab says that Pat Mahomes is going to throw more interceptions than touchdowns. And he said it's likely 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions, which if you're picking the Chiefs, it's probably what you're doing. You're not going to say, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. They're still winning the game, though. So
Right.
those are some bold predictions. But we got the Chiefs winning this game. And Joe, anything else from the Browns Chiefs?
That's all I got. Millie, you got
Oh,
anything to
who's
say? Anything
who's
about the
Millie
Chiefs and
picking?
Browns? She's a Patty Mahomes girl. Ain't that
Okay.
right, Kitty? Yep.
Oh,
Yep. That's your guy. That's your guy.
wow.
Hey,
We got a
hey,
close
hey,
up.
get out of the way. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's go. Let's go. It's enough of that. It's enough of
All right.
that. All right.
And the last game of the day, Joe, we got a rematch for the third time. Tom Brady versus Drew Brees, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. Saints are a 3-point favorite, and the over/under is set at 52. This is going to be an interesting game. I thought it's tough to beat a team 3 times in one year. I was reading something that when they met in the playoffs, at least this late in the divisional round or the championship or whatever, teams are like 14 for 22. So they're like 14-8, the team that swept in the regular season. So it's a little bit better. The last time it happened, I believe, was 2007 or 2008, according to what I read. So I could be wrong. But Saints Buccaneers, I'm going with the Buccaneers in this game. I'm going off. I'm not going with the Saints. I think Drew Brees is kind of thinking ahead to the end of his career. I think it's not going to be a pretty game. Oh, excuse me, Joe. I think Tom Brady is really going to show people like, hey, this is why the Bucs signed me. They're going all in. We got all the weapons. I'm Tom Brady. It's indoors. I mean, The Saints beat them in week 1, but that was after a couple of turnovers. So I think Tom Brady's going to bear down. Saints have a good defense, not going to lie, but I just think the Buccaneers defense is a little bit better against the Saints offense and the Saints defense against this Tampa Bay offense or defense, whatever the opposite was. So I'm going with the Buccaneers in this game. Joe, how about yourself?
This was the other tough one to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we got the exact same weeks again, buddy. I'm going with the Buccaneers. Like you said, it is tough to beat a team 3 times in one
Mm-hmm.
season. And, the one thing that, I think is the key is Marshawn Lattimore and who he's covering, because
Mm-hmm.
when he's covered Mike Evans the first 2 games here, he did not have a big game. He did not play well at all, did not really do much. So the factors then, Chris Godwin, and I think, like we talked about last week,
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is just on a hot streak right now. He's really coming to his own, developing that chemistry more and more with Tom Brady. I mean, I just see. I know when they played week 1, he wasn't on the team. I can't remember if he was on the team when they played the second time or not. But I
I think
don't
he was
remember him.
on the team, but I think he was still suspended, or he still had to wait a week or two. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
yeah, something like that. So that's what I think the big difference in this game is going to be.
Mhm.
Antonio Brown is there, and him and Tom Brady's chemistry is just continuing to get stronger and stronger. So yeah, you can take out Mike Evans. You
Mhm.
might be able to take out Chrisman. You might be able to limit Antonio Brown if Marshawn Lattimore over there. But then one of these other 2 guys is going to be open, and then you throw Rob Gronkowski in there as well. You just there's it's kind of like the Chiefs. They have a lot of weapons on offense that you just really can't sleep on. You take out 1 or 2 of them, there's a couple other people that are there who can make you pay. So on the flip side with this Saints offense, like you said, Drew Brees is, just not looking as great. I think he's still not 100% from that injury. And, him and Michael Thomas haven't really played a ton together this year. So
Mhm.
this Bucks defense, what they have been able to do well all year is stop the run. So if you sell out, slow down Kamara, force Drew Brees to beat you in there, I think that's the formula for success for this Tampa Bay defense. They're well equipped to win this game. Like you said, they
Mhm.
went out and got Tom Brady and added a lot of weapons in the offseason and in the season to be all in on this year, especially with Tampa Bay in the or hosting the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that the Bucks are going to make this one happen. We're going to see Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship, and then we'll see Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in the AFC Championship, and we'll have 4 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in the title games. I don't want another Case Keenum and like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl is Nick Foles versus Case Keenum and then Tom Brady versus Blake. Get out of here. Give me QB play. That's what the fans deserve. That's what we need.
Absolutely. And you said it, Joe, too, with the Buccaneers defense, kind of like the Packers defense, stopping the run and saying, like, okay, injured Jared Goff, beat us. Buccaneers are going to try to stop Kamara and Latavius Murray and say, okay, old man, beat us. So I think that's going to be the game plan for them. And if they do win, you said it with Tampa Bay hosting the Super Bowl, I believe the conference championship would be the closest a team to hosting the Super Bowl has gotten. Obviously, nobody's done it, but I don't know if anybody's actually gotten to the championship game either. So
The
that's
Vikings
Oh, that's right.
when
That's right. Yeah. That's right. The Vikings. The Vikings. Well, we'll see. And it's funny too because the Tampa Bay owner before they got Tom Brady, he was like, "We're going to be the first team to host or play a home game for a Super Bowl," and everybody was like, "Haha, that's funny." You have Jameis Winston, and then they got Tom Brady. People were like, "Oh, okay, so probably."
word.
And you said it too, Joe, with Aaron Rodgers. The NFL is going to be happy if the Packers win because either way, you're getting Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees versus Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game for a ticket to the Super Bowl. And I think they really hope that the Chiefs win too because you're either getting Lamar versus Mahomes or Josh Allen versus Mahomes. And not saying discrediting Baker Mayfield, I think that would be an intriguing matchup as well at the 2018 draft class. But I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game, and hopefully we get a nice Brady Rodgers rematch because I know Aaron Rodgers would like some revenge from that game in Tampa Bay in midseason this year. And looking at our guest again, like the Ravens and Bills, split 4-3. Obviously, I think those are the 2 toughest games to pick. So it's interesting how everybody went with the Packers, everybody went with the Chiefs, and it was 4-3 for the Ravens, Bills, and now the Buccaneers, Saints. We got 4 people on the Saints, Joe. And our guest Eric Sawyer says that Brady's last pass, much like last year, will be an interception to end his season. Colt picked the Saints, and he said Breeze will throw 3 touchdown passes. Fab is, I think he picked the Saints as well, or no, he picked the Bucks. But he says that it's going to come down to Michael Thomas, and he said he's going to ruin it, or he's going to be the reason why the Saints lose, whether it's him getting ejected or maybe fumbling or causing an interception. I think he actually did say getting ejected, which would be interesting, bad mouthing off a Buccaneers defensive back. But Fab says that Michael Thomas will be the reason that the Saints lose. And 3 people went with the Buccaneers. So again, a very tough matchup indeed. And like you said, Joe, this is going to be a little bit of a quick episode. Only 4 games this week. Going to be quicker next week with only 2 games than 2 weeks later when we only have 1 game. So we got to enjoy these games while they last. I believe I saw there are 7 more football games, 4, 2, and 1. 7 more football games in the NFL this season. Boy, time really flies, Joe. But any final words on this weekend with last Saturday of football, 7 games left? I mean, we're coming down to the wire, baby.
I know. I'm just, keeping my eye on these, head coaches that keep getting hired left and right, and trying to figure out what I want, what I hope for, and what to expect in the off season and the draft. So already kind of looking ahead to next season, but just trying to stay in the moment and enjoy, this great football. We got some great matchups, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, definitely during the games, I'm not going to be thinking about, is Brian Dabble going to be the Eagles head coach or go somewhere else? I don't know. Oh my God. So, we'll see what happens. I really hope the Ravens win so we can hire him immediately.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, and same with Bieniemy too. Like, I'm interested to see when the Chiefs either win the Super Bowl or get eliminated, how quickly a couple of teams send out their offer to Bieniemy. Because I'm sure there are a couple of teams that are just being like, Bieniemy's our guy. Once they're eliminated, we're sending the offer immediately.
I don't know. I don't know about Bieniemy. I don't know if I love Bieniemy. I don't know. I mean, he's got Andy Reid there. He's got all these offensive weapons. He was at University of Colorado and was not successful there. A couple, allegations about some bad stuff going on off the field. I don't know if I'm sold on Eric Bieniemy. Apparently, the Eagles are looking at Mike Kafka, their QB's coach, who was a former backup QB for the Eagles. Sound like anyone to you? Doug Peterson, QB's coach, backup QB for the Eagles. Andy Reid. Like I said it before, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna keep hiring all these Andy Reid clones, why the hell you trade away, or why you fire him? I don't get it. So we'll see. I'm trying not to think about that stuff though. Tim, why did you let me go on this rant?
Well, it's going to be interesting too with Mike Kafka too. If he does move to another team, maybe an offensive coordinator or something else, he's a quarterback coach, but it's easy when your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. So hopefully, maybe the next step for him is going somewhere else to be an offensive coordinator. Or maybe if Bieniemy does leave, maybe he gets promoted to offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. I think that would definitely be a huge jump. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, depending who gets eliminated, because there are some hot coordinators from these 8 teams still playing. So very interesting to see how the head coaches, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in our recap, which will be coming to you in the middle of the week again, guys. And I'm wrapped up. There's nothing else I have to say. Thank you guys again for watching this video. If you would, hit that thumbs up button to like this video. Comment down below your picks for the weekend. Are you going to ride with our picks? Are you going to fade with us? Comment below. Subscribe to the channel. We will see you guys midweek. Go Ravens. Please, Ravens win. But that's all for me, Joe. Anything else?
That's all we got, Tim. We're good. Let's have a great day, baby.
All right, guys. Peace.